Hey everybody, it is nostalgia time once again, and in the last episode, our plans were cut short when we had to go back on our original plan and take a look at the last of the KAV series of Acer laptops, that specifically being the KAV 60. So, in this episode, we're actually going to be taking a look at the Acer Aspire X series of laptops manufactured in two different time periods. The Acer Aspire X1200 comes with the 32-bit edition of Windows Vista. Don't know if it's Home Premium or Home Basic, but we'll find out after we finish with that. As for the Aspire X3400, it actually comes with the 64-bit edition of Windows 7, which is what almost all computers came with around this time. So, both of the setup screens for both of these OSs are pretty much the same, so we're just going to go ahead and just start the time lapse and see which one makes it to the out-of-box first. So, just as I figured, considering the X1200 is on the 32-bit architecture, it is the first one to reach the Oddbox experience, so yep, you know the drill. This is Vista Home Premium, English US, of course, and this comes with Service Pack 1 of Home Premium. Meanwhile, the X3400 is actually still at 70% in copying. And yep, all these backgrounds are the same ones that we've seen for quite a while, so let's actually do this background this time. And those are the default backgrounds that comes with the machine. So let's change the time because that is not correct. There we go. We are on a home network, and then here's all the stuff that you can set up. So I guess you can only choose one here. You can set up Net Zero, Earthlink, or McAfee. So you can choose from one of these, and then once it finishes preparing the desktop, then the sign up process will automatically begin. So we don't need any of the internet stuff because we're just going to utilize VMware's internet driver, or maybe not if Acer's driver is already included, which I'm pretty sure it is, or if VMware's driver will override it. Well, now we will just let this thing assess the performance, and then we will be at the desktop. So, as the desktop continues to prepare, here is the sign up window that appears alongside the personalized settings setup dialog. So this explains about setting up McAfee. However, there's the agreement, and then there's our country and region. Let's just accept it. It's asking for it a second time. And then this is about the McAfee account, which I believe was a thing at the time. Here's the desktop. It's about what we saw in that other Acer with Vista, the last Acer Vista that we took a look at. So the Acer Arcade, we already know what that looks like. That looks like sort of a companion to Windows Media Center. I wonder if the Acer Arcade is actually linked to that. So let's just hit close to disregard. So yeah, apparently Acer Arcade does indeed run under Windows Media Center. And there's the Welcome Center for Vista. So apparently I believe Acer made their own media centers for this kind of platform. However, there's no way we can actually, see them. So it looks like both Acer Arcade and Media Center open at the same time, with Acer Arcade being the higher priority. You could just use the links in Windows Media Center. Yeah, there's no proper hardware, and this is virtualization, so that's also another reason. Yeah, that message comes up before Media Center in Windows 7, but here in Vista it comes up afterwards. So here's the Empowering Technology bar, which we've all been familiar with. We've seen this before. So we can, just click the bar and get around. So there's the eData security. There is more to it. So there's even more stuff to it, but those will be added on later. So we have, of course, Acer Assist. There's Adobe Reader 8. And then there's the Net Zero and all the other stuff that it comes with. The NVIDIA drivers, which caused the majority of crashes in Vista upon its release. And then there's Media Maker 8 and Backup Now 5. It has Microsoft Works in the 60-day trial of Office 2007, which was released at the same time as Vista, or just a bit after. And then it's also got Google Desktop, and it has its own sidebar. which apparently the Windows sidebar does not come up by default here. So then just clicking the sidebar just opens up the Google Desktop installer, which is where you can choose selected features you want installed. But I don't need that because we know what that looks like. So now we'll go through the rest of them. No special games from Acer on this list. These are the ones from Vista. And if we go to Game Zone, these are the games that Acer includes. So now we've got like 3 different variants of Solitaire. There's Mystery Solitaire, and then Flow on the Go. And then there's the Jewel Quest we were going to try and take a look at last time, but we didn't get that far with it. Kick and Rush. I wonder what this is. It looks like a soccer game of sorts. But then I've always been wondering about what Flipwords is. Yeah, I suppose this is a word game, so let's actually take a good look at this and see what it's like as it loads. Are these the same people that made the Merriam-Webster? I believe so. It looks like it's already utilizing the Windows username. So let's play the classic mode. Round 1, 20 turns. So here you click on the red letters to link them into words, and they must be touching and at least 3 letters long. Then you click submit word, or click the last letter in your word twice to submit it. And then the first letter of valid words will be used to reveal the letters in the hidden phrase. Once you reveal enough letters and you know the phrase, you can just click guess and you can guess the phrase. However, you have to guess it in those 20 turns. So essentially, this is a combination of Hangman and see, it's not a word. So the extra turn meter will fill with each letter, and then if a letter appears in the word, then uh-oh. Well, that's really how that game works. So looking at the screensaver, yeah, it's just as identical as that other one we saw. It talks about Acer's eye care things, so yeah, that's really what that's about. And I actually forgot to mention too that all these phrases were actually submitted by actual users. So I guess what they did was they must have came up with their own phrase of sorts to be used in the game. And then I suppose somebody who created this game had to approve of it. So yeah, that's essentially what Flipwords 2 is, and of course we all know what the rest of these are, what the Acer store is, and we know what eSobby is because we've seen it many times before. So there's McAfee's Site Advisor and Google's Bar. So that's a look at this machine. So now let's wait for the 3400 to reach the out-of-box experience. In fact, it is just about done copying its files. And then we will look at that. Okay, here we are at the out-of-box experience on the X3400. This is the 64-bit edition of Windows 7 Home Premium, that is. Let's call this Aspire X3400. And this should be RTM with no service packs. We'll of course use the recommended settings. The time is incorrect. And we'll set it to a home network. And now to the desktop. So there is the registration card, and we'll activate the McAfee trial. Here we are at the desktop, and of course McAfee's activation failed. So looking at the desktop, yeah, this is the same background that we've seen in previous episodes. So again, we have that Skype installer and then the game zone, and that's the only background we get by default, unless there's any more. There's Adobe Reader 9. This has NVIDIA drivers as well. There's Norton's Online Backup, Silverlight. Here's all the games from both Acer and Microsoft. And there's the Spin and Win game that we've been seeing many times. There's the Esabi, the Shredder WinLocker. Yeah, the WinLocker. And then there's all the other games. The Poker Pop. I've never seen this one before, but I'm guessing this is a poker themed game. So we'll go to personalize and take a look and see if there's any backgrounds. So we actually get many more backgrounds after that. There's actually 6 of them in total. Here's the second one. Here's the third, which is in a different color scheme. Here's the fourth. That one looks pretty. And the sixth one. Also looks nice. Alright, well, let's and I believe the screensaver should be just about the same as all the other ones that we've seen. So, yep, there's the animation at the start. And then it'll just cycle through all those wallpapers. Well, except we get different ones this time around. But otherwise very similar to those other Acers that we've seen. So that's pretty much it. So in our next episode, we're going to begin wrapping up the Acer series. We're going to take a look at another Aspire model. And until we get to that, we will see you in the next episode.